In this video, I will demonstrate how to create a HTTP web service using TIBCO Business Studio for BW6 or Container Edition. I will use a simple use case to convert the US dollars into Indian rupees. Now let's get started. I have opened a workspace and click New Project. Give the project name as HTTP Web Service and click Finish. And rename the empty process by clicking on the bulb. Rename it to HTTP Web Service and click OK. Now open the empty process and go to the palette library. Click on HTTP palette and drag and drop HTTP receiver and click on HTTP send response. Connect both the activities and click on HTTP receiver. Create a HTTP connection. Rename it as HTTP server connection. Click on finish. Then click on adding a parameter and rename it as USD amount. And click on send HTTP response, and from the drop down for reply use HTTP receiver. Inside the input, map the ASCII content. Now concatenate a string saying the USD amount entered is, and from the data source click on HTTP receiver, and from the parameters map the USD amount. Now add a simple string saying converted amount in Indian rupees. Now let's convert USD amount to Indian rupees as per the current rate in the present day. Now if you see, there is an error saying string to double conversion invalid. So try to force the USD amount to read it as a number, and after multiplication it is expecting it to be a string, so force it using string function. Now the error is resolved. Let's try to test this process. Before that, click on the HTTP connection to verify the host and port. Let's keep it as localhost and port 8080. Save the connection and close it. Now let's try to debug this process. Click debug. The process is getting started. Now the application has started. In order to find out the endpoint URL, click enter and type L endpoints This will give the endpoint URL of the web services that we are currently hosting. It is HTTP localhost 8080. Now open the browser and use the parameter USD amount and give a value, say for example $10, and the converted INR is 732.8 rupees. Now instead of using web client, let's try to develop a simple web client process to invoke our web services through BusinessWorks itself. Create a new business process, rename it as HTTP web client process and click finish. Now click on the general activities and add a timer starter process in order to start this process. Now add a sleep activity just to make sure we are not invoking the HTTP web service before it starts. I have added a delay of 10,000 milliseconds. Now add HTTP send request activity. Let's configure the HTTP send request. Click on create a shared resource. This time we will create a client connection. Click on finish and add the parameter you wanted to send it. In this case, USD amount. Save it. Now click on input and give the value 10 for example. In order to print the output, let's add a logger to this process and map the response from the send HTTP request activity. Also make sure that in the HTTP client connection, the host and port are same as that we have used in HTTP server connection. Let's try to test this application. Click on debug. Now our application is getting started. Okay, it has started and it is currently waiting for the server to get started and send the request. Okay, the process has completed, and if you see the log print USD amount entered is 10 and the converted amount is INR 732.8. This completes this demo. Thank you.